Feuchamaich Olde Scot the Celtic podcast. Kimraha Huladunya, how is everyone? On today's show in Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig, that's Let's Try Little Gaelic. We'll be in Lesson 14, expressing needs and wants. In Celtic history, it's the first battle of tuiredh. In everyday Celtic ways, the Scottish witch trials. Now we're going to hear music from the Rankin family, Steve MacDonald, the two of us, Anne Martin, and Mary Black. And as always, it's a wee bit of Irish trivia to start us off. What is Happy Christmas in Irish? That is the Irish Gaelic. Check out the Olde Scot Facebook group where you can be a part of the Celtic culture, and keep an eye out for all the different videos our YouTube channel and Facebook group have to offer. Feuchamaich, let's kick this thing off. Welcome to Learn a Gaelic Song. Today's song, in tuiredh, the Red Horse. And tuiredh was written by a man named Hector Carmichael. He was born in 1888. He was a well-known Gaelic poet and local historian from Munro's Point on the north shore of Cape Breton. His songs, many of which were humorous, were sung mostly at parties and milling frolics. Hector said of his song composition, "The songs I make is making fun of people you know, just to make people laugh. I don't write it down. No, I make it. I can't write Gaelic, you know. I remember them when I compose them." Hector's songs mainly report on community events and feature local characters. One of his best known is in tuiredh, at Roland Steele, or Roland Steele's Red Horse, which is about an old horse in the community that was not well treated, but was better respected for his hard-working nature than his owner. We should be thankful to bands like the Rankin family who performed this one for us today, because they took the time to write it down and pass these musical treasures on to us. So enjoy, and remember, Gaelic at the top, English at the bottom. So get ready.
And Jack Rug ek Roland Steele gunt corn a beast and tacky shown. Nura ye cat ye hen yowl had gak at morning crackin' it.
Hirio like his own clear town to Carife. Hatu nakalaka ni bon yow me hain and barike.
Eternally kes blenur a chayin uku garit lesh. Uale gun rowe tourler son a brood examinig.
Hirio like his own clear town to Carife. Hatu nakalaka ni bon yow me hain and barike.
Gure Finnegan Churantus mian yelmin pool to Baliklesh. Guher Keher Kruyan oors morun gunjiani tarin good.
Hirio like his own clear town to Carife. Hatu nakalaka ni bon yow me hain and barike.
Nur a hashiki gachruig, vitja cool a clackin yek. Sound her strawl and drish good june bakru uwe the spavin yek.
Hirio like his own clear town to Carife. Hatu nakalaka ni bon yow me hain and barike.
Chechachi lesh gundal musayan mars and charikach. Stan feichamugu shieri brachamacher braia balakam.
Hirio like his own clear town to Carife. Hatu nakalaka ni bon yow me hain and barike. Hirio like his own clear town to Carife. Hatu nakalaka ni bon yow me hain and barike.
Scottish Gaelic is native to the Gaels of Scotland. Scottish Gaelic developed out of the Old Irish and learning this beautiful language can be a direct link to your Gaelic ancestors. Follow along in Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig, and like I said, let's try a little Gaelic. Feuchamaich Olde Scot the Beginner's Gaelic Course. Kimra Hula Dunya, how is everyone? Looky there, you already know how to say welcome to and how is everyone. Alright, in the next 25 lessons of Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig, that's Let's Try a Little Gaelic, with a little work you can gain a rudimentary understanding of the Scottish Gaelic language. Now, these lessons were taken from my weekly podcast beginning back on May 15th of 2020. So if you like, you can listen to them there as well. But please remember that I am not an authority on the Gaelic language. I just love learning it. I struggle like most all learners. And so what I teach comes right from well-respected Gaelic teachers. I hope you find it interesting, informative, and fun. And as always, I display on the screen what I'm discussing so you can follow along. All right, Kersh Maha, which means, all right then, let's get started. In lesson 14, which is expressing needs and wants. And to start off, we're going to start off with fit, which is need. And fit me, which means may I. And then the affirmative answer would be fitte. Or the negative answer would be han fit. Now, the negative interrogative or negative question would be nach fit me. May I not? Alright, we'll move on. And fet me falaf, may I leave? And then han fet, no. And fet me a dol yan tai vek, may I go to the toilet? Fette, yes. And fet me tea ol, may I drink tea? Han fet, no. Harsan nach fet me tea ol. Why can't I drink tea? Ersum gumveil u dona. Because you are bad. Wow. Harsh punishment. And fet me cake ihe? May I eat cake? Fette. Yes. And fet Ian yo yaki. May Ian go home? Fette. Yes. Wow. Kind of just rolls off the tongue. Now we're going to move on to ear, which is want. Okay. Ear is ask, which is the imperative. Ach iri, asking, which is the present participle. Yiri, yiri me, I asked. Kado yiri me, I did not ask. Ando yir me, did I ask? Nakdo yir me, didn't I ask? Alright. The verb ear, when used with the verb to be, means to want. So, we're going to run through a few of these. Hamia gerdi cup of tea. I want a cup of tea. Vamia gerdi cup of tea. I was wanting a cup of tea, but now I don't. Velo Gary cup of tea? Do you want a cup of tea? And Nachro Mia Gary cup of tea. Didn't I want a cup of tea? Alright. The verb ear means, when used alone, means to ask for. Now note that this construction, the verb is always followed by the pronoun ersen, which means for. So, ear me ersen cup of tea? I asked for a cup of tea. Kado ear me ersen cup of tea? I did not ask for a cup of tea. Dude, make up your mind. Ando ear me ersen cup of tea? Did I ask for a cup of tea? Nakdo ear me ersen cup of tea? Didn't I ask for a cup of tea? Wow. Alright. And there you have it. Now, you can move that around and use it in different contexts and stuff, but follow the rules and you'll be just fine. And we got 6 sentences for you to translate to help you with this. And we're going to start off with number 1. Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig. 2. Feuchamaich Beagan. 3. Magh Beagan. 4. Fit. 5. Kupati. And 6. Kadolyarmi Erson Kupati. All right.
Distant land that were maiden hiding in the sand with her beauty. She gave thrills, mighty goddess of love, fairy of the hills. No man could defy all the lust and the promise of the light, her attraction. Overwhelmed as they swallow the bait, never back again. No one kept the fading tale, hunted by her charm. You got caught in waves of Cleona. Once there came a man from the faraway ground and a royal clan with his beauty. He overrode the young thief of hearts, a mortal god sent from up above. They both fallen head over heels in love, so they fled across the sea, but the vengeful wave never let them be. No one could foresee the tale, determined that way. They couldn't keep forbidden love, even so they prayed. Then there came a raging tide, taking her away. She got caught in waves of Cleona.
Celtic history brings you the tales of the land, castles, warriors, heroes, legends, and customs that have created the rich, vibrant, and sometimes strange and wonderful history of the Celtic world. This is an 8-part series on the Book of Invasions, Labar Gabala Eran, the Book of Invasions of Ireland. The people of Ireland in medieval times had never believed that Gaelic-speaking people were the native of their land. They had believed that the Ireland was invaded and settled by successive Celtic tribes over different periods. Their history is based largely upon the pseudo-historical Labar Gabala, translated as the Book of Invasions. Now, the Book of Invasions form a major part of the Irish mythological cycle, and was supposed to contain the history of Ireland. It is the story of successive invasions and settlement of Ireland. There have been 6 invasions: the Caesarians, Partholanians, Numidians, Fir Bolgs, the Tuiredh Danann, and the last group of invaders, the Milesians, who became the ancestors of the modern Irish people. Alright, before I tell you about the last invasion of Ireland, we got to tell you about the first battle of Magh. Now, it's going to take 2 parts to tell you everything. The tuiredh Danann were at peace with the Fomorians. An alliance was formed between the tuiredh Danann and the Fomorians. So the Fomorians had no objection to the Danann settling in Ireland. To seal the alliance, Balor gave his daughter, Ethlyn, in marriage to the Danann, Cian, who was the son of Dian Cecht. Now the tuiredh Danann arrived in a cloud of mist when the Fir Bolgs discovered they were in Connacht. According to the Cath Matura, the mist was actually the smoke from their burning ships. You see, the tuiredh Danann had decided that they did not want to be able to flee in their ships if they were defeated. They would have to be forced to stay and fight to the last man. So that's why they burned their ships. Now, during this time, Feuchamaich Beagan was king of Ireland and the leader of the Fir Bolgs. Feuch was married to Tuiredh, now the Fir Bolg daughter of the king of the Great Plain, or the magh. The 2 people sent embassies to meet and talk, and spent their time curiously looking at one another's strange clothes and weapons instead. The Danann spear was superbly crafted, with a fine point. It's razor sharp, whereas the Fir Bolg spear was blunt. Brees told the Srang, the Fir Bolg champion, that they wished to share the land with the Fir Bolgs. They exchanged weapons before returning to their people. This was a trick to gain their technology. After the Fir Bolgs decided that they did not want to divide and share the land with the tuiredh Danann, they declared war against the Dananns. When the newcomers would not leave, a battle took place in a place called magh. The Fir Bolgs lost 100,000 warriors. Amongst those killed was Feuchamaich Beagan, the king of the Fir Bolgs. Now the Dananns also lost many people in the battle as well. According to the Cath Matura, which is the historical document, there's many killed. The Dananns won a convincing victory, though, because of their superior weapons and skills, but at the price of losing their king. Now, though Nuda did not die, he was the king, Nuda lost his right hand in battle when he fought against the Fir Bolg champion Srang. Now, to the Danann, losing any body member would result in losing the right to become the king of Ireland. Any form of physical blemish disqualified you from ruling. Now, the tuiredh Danann had to choose a new king. They chose Bress. A peace treaty was drawn up with the Fir Bolgs, receiving the province of Connacht as their land. Now, while the Danann won the rest of Ireland, Brees was made king of Ireland, ruling the tuiredh Danann. Brees was the son of Iru, though his father was of unknown origin. Brees was described as an imposing and beautiful young man, but he had no gift of kingship. We learned that he lacked 2 main things to be a good king. Brees lacked generosity and hospitality. The 2 champions of the first battle, Dagda and Ogma, were forced to work in humiliating manual labor camps. The tuiredh Danann's foremost warrior, Ogma, had to find firewood. Dagda had to build a fort and dig ditches around a fort called Rath Brees. Dagda was forced to share his food with an idle blind man named Criddenbell. When Criddenbell complained to the king that his share of food was small compared to Dagda, the king forced Dagda to give a large share of his food to the blind man. Being a large man, Dagda's health started to deteriorate due to insufficient food. Now one day, magh found Dagda digging a trench and really suffering from his failing health. Magh advised Dagda to put 3 coins into Criddenbell's share of the meal. As a result, the blind man died, and Dagda, he was arrested for poisoning Criddenbell. Dagda told Brees that he was innocent, of course, that he had only given the blind man some coins. Now Brees warned Dagda that he would die if no coins were found in Criddenbell's stomach. Of course, Criddenbell's belly was cut open and 3 gold coins were found, so Dagda was, of course, acquitted of the charge of murder. Brees's rule became more tyrannical and oppressive, and the people really wanted Nuda, their old king, to rule instead, despite the mutilation of his hand. Now, Dian Cecht, who was the physician of the tuiredh Danann, took a miraculous approach of replacing Nuda's missing hand. Nuada's right hand was kept in a jar and preserved in a liquid. Now, Gavnu fashioned a hand made of silver, while Dean connected the silver hand in Nuada's arm with a combination of surgery and magic. With a new hand, the people demanded that Brees should step down. Without the support of the Tuath Dananan, Brees had no choice but to face expulsion. Nuada was crowned king and named Nuada Erlikitshla, Nuada of the Silver Hand. Brees returned to his mother and asked her who his real father was. Eru revealed that he was the son of the Fomorian king named Elitha. She told her son to seek out his father and gave Bress the signet ring of his father. Brees went to the Fomorian Tower on Tory Island and sought an audience with the king. Bress told Elitha that he was his son and revealed the ring. Elitha acknowledged his son and promised military support to restore Brees to the throne of Ireland. And we'll tell the rest of the story next week.
Van sorag vine boys in bjarnen brytje, han klår an rigelles lossen nord, skappilag eiv nach for brunne
Everyday Celtic Ways brings you the mythology, traditions, and customs that have created a unique and personal culture that still affects those that are Celtic and those that just love the Celtic world. Between 1563 and 1763, Scotland was a country in turmoil, from religious power struggles to outright paranoia. This is what fueled the Scottish witch trials. Now, belief in witchcraft was common during the Middle Ages, but leaders of the Catholic Church were largely skeptical, seeing it as folklore rather than something sinister. Lawyers were only interested in cases where harm was alleged to have taken place, and some high-profile political cases have been recorded, including the case of John Stuart, Earl of Mar, for allegedly using sorcery against his brother King James III in 1479. Now, cases like this were rare. However, as Scotland was plunged into turbulence of the early modern era, attitudes began to change. New laws were formed, and Scotland found itself in the grip of several witch trials and even witch hunts. The passing of the Witchcraft Act of 1563 made witchcraft, or even consulting with witches, a capital offense. As a result, it is estimated that 4,000 to 6,000 people were tried for witchcraft, and that more than 1,500 people were executed. Approximately 75% of those who were accused were women. In 1560, the Scottish Parliament made Scotland officially a Protestant country. However, what this legislation did not do was set down what powers the church might be granted with in respect to those who disobeyed the tenets of this newfound faith. Indeed, the new church had barely come to terms with its own new powers and the implications for governing its congregation when the fervor about witches began to ramp up. So when the Witchcraft Act was passed, the Scottish Parliament, it had immediately deadly consequences. It was a time of great change in Scotland, a time when your religious affiliation could make or break a monarch or send you to your death for no reason at all. Lutheran ideas had reached Scotland in 1525, plunging the nation into the Reformation. Under the watchful eye of John Knox, Scotland eventually became a Protestant country. Knox initially was a follower of Luther, but later adopted the ideology of John Calvin. Now, both Luther and Calvin held the belief that witchcraft was a crime of such serious nature that it merited the death penalty. John Knox played a significant role in drafting the Scottish Witchcraft Act and was influenced by the beliefs of his role models. Now, the question that they were facing was what constituted ungodliness. It would soon become apparent that the new regime viewed the world solely in black and white, zero tolerance for anything unholy. Significantly, the Witchcraft Act did not define what formed an act of witchcraft, nor did it mention the demonic pact initially. Those enforcing the Witchcraft Act were more concerned with putting an end to superstition and a belief in magic. Magic was the ritualistic use of an object or words in the form of a spell to achieve a desired outcome. Now, this could be in the form of healing, fortune-telling, love potions, finding lost or stolen goods, and protective and good luck charms. It was believed that illness was caused by malign spirits, which could be removed by transferring it to another person or object. Of course, if someone could perform good magic, then the converse had to be also true. Magic could be used to cause harm. Now, their ignorance of the world and their fear of God's wrath and love of a newfound power led them to commit atrocities on a grand scale in the name of God.
there. Sons of Somalia, hail to ye, sons of Somalia. Through the timeless history, fighting for their destiny. Images fly through my head, images of Somalia. And dark fjord, battling till his life he shed, leaving the throne to the sons of Summerland.
Top 11 Heritage. Now remember to check out my YouTube channel. It's got Celtic music, podcasts, Gaelic language, Gaelic song, Celtic history videos, plus lots more. And my Facebook group where you can give me your inputs and insights on all things Celtic. But before I let you go, the trivia question answer.
Nolig Honovich.
Martian Leave and Drozda, bye for now. But I'm going to let you go with a song.
Goodbye, Bobby.
Is more
idir híadh is chata ó bhain go bairis scach níon sa car na fiaus. Meg de bhólach da gasach gach neoin chun baile is ceobin ag batha bhaanta meg de glacha gas coiste dat haring ga bruch na caring an